It always happens when you least expect it. One moment you're cruising through open silence, the road stretching endlessly in front of you. Your engine hums perfectly, the wind feels smooth, and everything seems under control. And then it coughs, stutters, goes quiet. You pull the clutch in, hoping it's nothing, but the RPM needle drops to 0. No response, no warning, just dead. Now, imagine this happening in the middle of nowhere. No lights, no houses, no network, no passing cars. Just you, your bike, and a silence that suddenly feels way too loud. Most riders think they'll figure it out if it ever happens, but when it actually does, panic replaces logic faster than the engine shut off. In this video, we're breaking down the exact steps you need to follow if your motorcycle ever dies in a place where help isn't guaranteed. Because out there, the difference between staying calm and freaking out is everything. Step 1. Don't panic. Get safe first. When your bike breaks down in the middle of nowhere, your biggest enemy isn't the mechanical issue, it's panic. Riders often jump straight into inspecting the bike, forgetting the most important rule: secure your surroundings. The first thing you do is guide your bike off the road. Even if it feels like no one is around, don't risk staying in a lane. Move to the shoulder, a flat patch of dirt, or anywhere that doesn't put you in danger. Turn your hazard lights on if they work. If your battery is dead, use your phone's flashlight, a reflective vest, or anything bright. Your safety comes before your engine. Once you're off the road, take a deep breath. Slow your heart rate. You need your mind clear, not racing. Think of it this way. You can't fix a problem with shaking hands. And in remote areas, staying calm is not optional, it's survival. Step 2. Check the big 3: fuel, spark, air. Even expert mechanics follow this rule. When an engine dies unexpectedly, the cause is usually one of the big 3: fuel, spark, or air. And the majority of breakdowns on the road are embarrassingly simple. So before you assume your engine is blown, check the basics. Start with fuel. Not just how much you think you have, but what's actually in the tank. Many riders misjudge mileage, especially on older bikes with inaccurate gauges. Open the tank, shake the bike, and listen. If you ride with a petcock, make sure it's not accidentally switched off. If you have a reserve mode, switch to it. Sometimes that alone gets you another 20 to 30 kilometers. Next is spark. A loose battery terminal can shut your bike off instantly. Check your terminals with your fingers, no tools needed. If they're loose, tighten them. If the ignition switch feels wobbly or intermittent, that's a clue. And if you recently washed your bike or rode through heavy rain, moisture inside the kill switch or spark plug boot can stop the ignition completely. Then there's air. A clogged air filter won't usually kill an engine instantly, but a sudden loss of intake, like mud, debris, or water, can. If you rode through deep water, your intake might be wet. Remove the filter, shake it out, or let it dry. These checks won't fix everything, but they solve more breakdowns than most riders realize. Step 3. Listen to the bike. It always leaves clues. Engines rarely fail silently. Before it died, your motorcycle probably gave you hints. You just didn't recognize them. Now is the time to replay the last few minutes of your ride. Did the power fade slowly? That points to fuel starvation. Did it die instantly like the key was turned off? That's electrical. Did it sputter? That's fuel delivery. Did it make a loud pop before shutting down? Possibly a loose connector or blown fuse. After that, try restarting the bike, but listen carefully. Does it crank but not fire? That's spark or fuel. Does it not crank at all? Battery, starter, or fuse. Does it crank weakly? Battery. Does it crank fast but sound free with no compression? That's serious but rare. The sound of the failure tells the story. If you listen closely, your bike gives you the diagnosis for free.
Step 4. Check for the most common roadside failures. Most breakdowns happen because of a few predictable issues. if you know them, you can fix them, even miles away from the nearest shop. Loose battery terminals. The #1 cause of sudden shutdowns. Tighten them. Even a coin or house key can help. Blown main fuse. If your bike went totally dark, check the main fuse near the battery. Many bikes include a spare. Fuel pump failure. Switch the key on. Do you hear the pump prime? If not, try tapping the tank gently. Sometimes it wakes up a stuck pump, temporarily. Clogged fuel line. If you're in dusty or dirty conditions, dirt can block flow. Loosen the fuel cap. If air rushes in, it means a vacuum lock stopped fuel from reaching the engine. Kill switch moisture. Rain can get inside the kill switch and shut everything down. Flip it up and down several times to reset the contact. Kickstand sensor. If it fails or bends, the bike might think the stand is down and cut the engine automatically. These issues aren't dramatic, but they're extremely common, and all of them are fixable on the spot. Step 5. If the bike is still dead, shift to survival mode. If nothing works, no restart, no temporary fix, it's time to stop thinking like a rider and start thinking like a survivor. Because now the problem isn't your bike, it's your isolation. First, preserve your phone battery. Turn off data, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and background apps. Switch to low power mode. Your phone might be your only lifeline. Second, aim for higher ground. Just a few meters of elevation can turn no signal into 1 bar. Riders have been rescued simply by climbing a small hill nearby. Third, mark your bike. Use something reflective or bright so passing vehicles don't crash into it when visibility drops. Fourth, don't wander too far. In remote places, leaving the road is the biggest mistake riders make. Roads are where help comes from. Survival mode isn't about fear. It's about buying time safely. Step 6. Know when to stay and when to walk. In a breakdown, the hardest decision is choosing whether to stay with your bike or walk for help. But here's the rule. If it's daylight, the weather's good, you know the direction, and the next town is within a realistic distance, walking can be safe. But at night, during storms, or without knowing where you are, stay with your bike. It's visible, it's shelter, and it makes you easier to find. If you do decide to walk, note landmarks, distances, and always leave a message on your bike about your direction and time of departure. Small decisions like this prevent big disasters. Step 8. Don't make the mistake most riders do after a breakdown. Once the bike starts again, or once help arrives, riders often jump back on the road immediately. Huge mistake. A breakdown is your bike's way of warning you that something is wrong. If you fixed it temporarily, treat it like a temporary fix. Don't push the engine. Don't race home. Don't assume the problem is gone. Keep speeds low, keep the ride short, and get the bike inspected professionally as soon as possible. Surviving the breakdown is one thing. Preventing the next one is another. You can't control the road, but you can control your preparation. Breaking down in the middle of nowhere isn't just about engines. It's about mindset. It's about knowing the steps, keeping calm, and understanding your machine well enough to make smart decisions when it matters most. Because the truth is, every rider will face a moment like this eventually, but the riders who handle it safely are the ones who prepared before it happened. And if you've ever been stranded, you know one thing. The silence hits harder when you weren't ready for it.